belonging to our allies is attacking. He's studying new ways of extracting.
Here's a game title that really gets to the point. Bang Gunship Elite, with an exclamation point after bang, so it's not bang, it's bang! This is a game that primarily suffers because of the Dreamcast controller rather than the game itself. I would have probably been more forgiving if I reviewed this in 2000, but these days it's impossible to even contemplate a flight game without dual analog controls, because you need to bank and roll and fly up and down, left and right. And the problem with Bang Gunship Elite is that you cannot roll with the analog thumbstick on the Dreamcast controller. You fly around with the analog stick, but you roll with the D-pad, which happens to be on the same side of the controller as the analog stick, so you basically would need 3 hands to play this game properly. Also, the targeting system is very awkward and clumsy, but, you know, you could get used to that if you just had the flight controls down. In any event, that's the big problem. Now, the good news with Bang Gunship Elite is that it's dirt cheap these days for the Dreamcast, and it's actually a very nice-looking game, with a lot of potential. Sadly, most of it is missed potential, but it has a lot of potential nonetheless. There's 19 missions in this game, and like you'd expect, they have objectives that you must complete in order to move to the next mission. You also have to survive, and not be blown up and sucked into the horrible vacuum of space. In addition to the controls, the gameplay in Bang Gunship Elite suffers from a few other issues, most notably is targeting. You can easily see enemies in front of you, and the radar screen does work quite well, but it's hard to really lock on to one enemy and hunt them down until they're destroyed. Also, at least at the beginning of the game, you're basically utilizing World War I style weaponry and airplane tactics in the future in space. A standard set forth by science fiction films in the 70s, I know, but they were basically going off of World War II combat. Machine guns and rockets and things. You know, this is the future. You should lock on to every single target at once and blow them away with a push of the button, aka Omega Boost. And that brings me to another point. If you're used to playing other spaceship action shooting games like Omega Boost, Project Sylphid, or even airplane games like Hawks and Blazing Angels, incidentally, this game is published by Ubisoft, you'll find Bang Gunship Elite is just clumsy in the areas where it shouldn't be. But that's not entirely the game's fault. Like I said, the controller has a lot to do with that. Where the game really excels is in the visuals department, and the fact that the gameplay is remarkably smooth, showing that the Sega Dreamcast, early in its lifespan, in the year 2000, was perfectly capable of competing against the PlayStation 2. At least technically. It had a very short lifespan, but I believe the Dreamcast had a lot of potential, and Bang Gunship Elite shows that, because this game would look good if it was a downloadable game today for one of the major consoles. Maybe it's rough around the edges here and there, but overall you can't argue that this has nice art design, nice visuals, and it's really smooth. Unfortunately, you can find better gameplay and controls on Sega 32X games like Shadow Squadron and Star Wars Arcade. But anyway, if you want to give it a spin in your Dreamcast, it is really cheap. This copy was donated to Classic Game Room by Mike from Galloway Township, New Jersey. Thank you, Mike. Back when I was reviewing Sega Dreamcast games the first time around, I missed this one. I'm not sure why, but I did. I'll tell you what, I probably would have actually really liked it in 2000 when it was new. Because even with the awkward controls, technically this would have blown away just about everything else back in the year 2000.
Shield, critical level.
The gauntlet is accelerating. The gauntlet is accelerating.